Congressman, first, I'm glad you are safe. We know you're in a secure location. We're not going to be asking where that is for your own safety. First question for you, sir, if you can please just describe what you saw through your eyes as things unfolded earlier today.
Yeah, I was actually on the House floor. I had been there from the very beginning at 1 o'clock. It escalated quickly. There was clearly interruption that was going on. Security escorted the Speaker and Steve Scalise and other leadership out of the chamber. Got everybody else back into the chamber. Started locking down the chamber. I was towards the back of the chamber. I knew it was getting serious when Cap Police, the security detail, not the uniformed folks, but the security detail, were pulling out their batons and they started having banging on the main doors into the House chamber. And just for the visual picture, that's the set of doors that leads straight down the aisle to the dais. That's where the president and would go and do the State of the Union address. That's kind of the path that they were walking in. So it was those set of doors. And at one point, we started grabbing furniture off the House floor. There's a couple of benches and a desk. I picked up a bench with one of the I'm assuming it was a Capitol Hill police officer, and we started carrying it towards the door to barricade it, and that's when we heard a very big bang. I believe it was either a tear gas or a flashbang grenade of some sort right outside that, and in the window into the chamber was broken. They started screaming, "Shots fired! Shots fired!" At which point, dropped the bench, and I started picking up, we were trying to get it over there, and I had another Capitol Hill police officer, start yelling at me, "Sir, get out of here, get down on the floor," which, obviously at that point, there was a number of members who were trying to help and make sure that if there was a breach that that there was resistance to it, and but at that point they were like, we need to get the members out. And there was just a couple of us that were left actually on the House floor, but they quickly got us out of the chamber.
You mentioned Congressman Scalise a moment ago, someone who unfortunately knows all too well what this is like, having been shot and nearly killed a few years ago. Thank God he is still with us. Describe the feelings that you had, what you were thinking while you were going through this.
Yeah, actually, I was. I'll use the word. I was pretty pissed.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that this would be happening. This is not America. This is not how we react to this. I can tell you, after the shooting of Steve Scalise, there's been a lot of talk among the members. We're not sitting back waiting for help. We're gonna take care of ourselves if at all possible. I can tell you that there was we got members who were former military, special ops guys, police officers, that kind of thing. Members were lining up to help Capitol Hill Police if they needed to. And at first, I was afraid that there really was going to be an imminent breach, kind of the thought process I had is, okay, here we go. I mean, this is, and the irony in this, Nick, is it was virtually all Trump supporters that were standing there at the door trying to block it of the Trump support. I mean, I'm talking about members of Congress who support the president, meaning Republicans for the most part, standing there ready to assist the Capitol Hill police officers from keeping these people from coming into the chamber.
You mentioned a moment ago, and I don't think anyone would disagree with you, that this is not America. How do you think we got to this point, sir?
Well, look, this has been no one thing, no one event, and as you and I have talked about in previous months, there's been violence from the left with Antifa and others. It should have been condemned. It wasn't condemned as strongly as it should have been, and it needs to be condemned now. It doesn't matter if it's left, right, or center. This is not how we conduct our business as a country. And there is this coarsening that has happened within society. civil debate is right out the window, and it's happened from all sides. And I think the president, his video, I assume it was a tweet, I watched it. It was not sufficient. He should have been on TV. He should have condemned it just outright and called for people to go home. That is what he should have done. I wish he had. But this is, there's no one moment that I think you can point to say this caused it. But this certainly is a bad culmination in it, and look, this does not reflect on the tens of thousands of people that were still here and didn't go do this kind of stuff, right? These are people that wanted to have their voice be heard. I'm sure that they didn't want it heard this way.
How do we get out of this, sir? How do we, for lack of a better phrase and a more articulate way to put it, how do we make things better?
We got to be respectful. We've got to be talking to each other. We need to have robust debate, but it cannot break out into this. And we're getting kind of conflicting messages what we're going to be doing, whether we're going to be moving ahead with this yet tonight. How late they may start, or exactly what we're going to do with the counting of the vote. But at the end of the day, we need to continue with this. That to me is a strong statement about the strength of our system and our Constitution, and that we're not going to let anyone anywhere on the political spectrum stop that.
All right, Congressman Bill Huizenga of Zeeland, sir, we appreciate your time, and we are thankful for your good health right now in Washington, D.C. And we're going to ask you to please pass the phone over.
You got it.
Thank you.
Here's Peter.
Thank you, freshman Congressman Peter Meijer of Grand Rapids. Sir, do we have you on the phone now?
You do.
Congressman Meijer, single-digit days now as a congressman in Washington, D.C. Could you have imagined, sir, and obviously you watched the rhetoric in this country ratcheting up all through your campaign and frankly over the last couple of years, but did you ever imagine that your first week in Congress would entail something like we have seen so far today?
Imagine. I spent 3 years between Iraq and Afghanistan. I've been barricaded in places before, so it was within the imagination, but of course not something I ever hoped to have ever had happen. This is a sad day for the country. It's a sad day for our republic. It's just a sad day. I'm filled with a mix of sorrow, anger, and frankly pride in our Constitution. Because that's what's going to bring us back from this brink. That's what's going to help us bridge these divides and then move forward. We need to have a single set of shared facts. We can't be living in alternate realities. We need to rebuild trust. We need to rebuild that civil fabric, and this has to be the day that starts.
You said just a moment ago, sir, that we can't be living in alternate realities. There are questions many have about this most recent presidential election. There are always questions that come out of every election, but I don't think that anyone can say with a straight face that the administration did not simply lie about many things regarding this election, although there still may be legitimate questions. Did this ramp up of this rhetoric in any way, do you think, contribute to what we're seeing now today?
I think it's no question that I share concerns about election integrity, right? But we have processes, we have court systems, we have a rule of law and legal systems that exist in order to, sorry, there's an alarm going off. We have legal systems that exist in order to work through these disputes. That's how we resolve differences. That's how a civilized nation resolves differences. Storming the Capitol, intimidating House and Senate who are meeting to conduct the business of the American people.
You mentioned...
They're just announcing a curfew in effect.
Oh, okay.
It's utterly unacceptable. What we saw was nothing short of an insurrection. I was in the military in Iraq. I've seen insurgencies. This is a violent attempt to, frankly, try to overthrow and diminish the function of this great democracy that we have, of our republic.
I asked Congressman Huizenga a version of this question, and I want to ask you now. You are a young man just starting your political career. You may or may not have aspirations for a long career in Washington, D.C. If you do, how do you make the future of politics in America better than what we are seeing right now?
I mean, you have to start with fundamentals. You have to start with realizing that there's far more that unites us than divides us. You also have to realize that on any side, violence is unacceptable. I mean, but let's not kid ourselves. Storming the Capitol is an unprecedented assault on our democracy. This is something that we cannot equivocate. We cannot take a both sides approach. I hope maybe I haven't uttered those words, but if I haven't yet, I mean, I fully condemn this reprehensible attack on our country. Folks who call themselves patriots are trying to. That's the sense of alternate reality, that someone who thinks they're a patriot could be engaged in an act of sedition. Right? We have a Constitution for a reason. It is a document that binds us together. So I urge my colleagues, I hope we put aside, there'll be a time for partisan differences. There'll be a time, to work through where we may have policy stances on opposite sides. But when it comes to ensuring that the American project lives on, when it comes to ensuring that we never let ourselves get to this brink again, that is where we need to go in this moment.
Congressman Meijer, two more questions, and I'll let you get out. First, you had some very strong words about President Trump's statement that he put on Twitter, his video statement. He first came out, and the first thing he said was this was a stolen election, and then he told people to go home. You said that this statement is not good enough. Could you simply please elaborate on what you thought of that video?
We needed a clear, unequivocal condemnation of the violence and the attack on the Capitol that we saw today from the president. He did not offer that, period.
And then last question, sir. Is this in any way going to dissuade you or your colleagues, both Republican and Democrat, from doing your duty in the Capitol?
Hell no. I'm not going to let anyone intimidate me from protecting and defending the Constitution of the United States.
All right. Congressman Peter Meijer, alongside a moment ago, Congressman Huizenga from West Michigan. Congressman Meijer, we as well appreciate your time, and we are thankful for your good health tonight, sir. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.